Morning, Neil. 8 games since you came back to Palace as manager. How are you finding it?
Well, it's a tough job, you know. I mean, I think the circumstances of my arrival was very, I thought difficult, but the lads have been brilliant, really. I mean, I think most games we could have got results in every game so far. We were disappointed like with last weekend's result, but performance-wise we were happy, with. I thought certain things were game-changing, on the day, but I thought we played very, very well, and we've got to keep that sort of level of performance up. The fans have been brilliant home and away as well, so we've got to use the fans at home and then have that freedom away from home to play like we did.
One of the key things to come out of last weekend was the incident with the referee leaving on his own, having a conversation with yourself. What's the situation as you understand it?
I don't really want to talk about it, if I'm honest, because it might get somebody in trouble. So I think enough's been speculated on. I didn't do anything wrong, so.
Was it yourself that initiated the call?
Never you mind. One or two people have said it was, one or two people said it wasn't, but whatever will be, will be.
You're not a big fan of Ed Sheeran yourself? You wouldn't rush off?
Yeah, my daughter and my son and wife went to Ed Sheeran last night, but they didn't see anybody they recognised.
Would you say it's unfair, perhaps, that Mr. Clattenburg has missed a game this weekend because of...
I don't want to talk about him, if I'm honest. I don't want to talk about any referees. I talk about them enough. People get fed up with me talking about referees. Let me talk about the team and the game and Sunderland. I think that's one to look forward to, really.
How big is this Sunderland game, bearing in mind their recent 2 results? Obviously the 8-0 and they got beat last week.
I mean, things like that do happen. They had a very good win before that against Stoke. So, you don't kid yourself. Things like that don't happen very often. Every game in this league is difficult. To get maximum points. That's why it was so disappointing last week. To done everything and to not to get it for reasons beyond our working on the training and the coaching and tactics, everything. I thought it was beyond that the result. So that was disappointing. But you move on, and we've got to. We know it'll be difficult for them, but as I've said, for us it'll be difficult, but same for them. I think that we've got the sort of that commitment we've got, and we've got some good players as well. That's what I've really enjoyed being in charge and seeing them play, really. And yes, they say we've got tough games coming up, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing my team play against these teams. If I'm honest, we need a bit of luck with injuries. Not sure about Scotty Dan yet, but he's a massive player for us. But if he's not fit for Monday, I think he'll definitely be fit for Saturday. So, we are close to getting a full strength. Massive plus Hangeland playing like he did last week. That's as good as I've seen him for a year or so. Thought he was outstanding, and then you look at some of the other performances, which I thought were very encouraging.
You talk about Scott there, maybe not quite fit for Monday. Is there any new faces that you expect to return from injury? What's the latest with the injured players?
No, MacArthur's training. I mean, Scott is training. I mean, I wouldn't write him off yet. We've still another 24-hour, another session tomorrow, and he's doing a lot more today than he has done. Players like Scott Dan and these experienced players, they know themselves if they're fit. They tell the manager. It's not the other way around. So we'll wait and see what he says. It's always been that we were going to decide on Sunday, just whether he's got a chance or not.
And in terms of Sunderland, we talked about their form. No wins away from home this season. Only 1 win in their last 8. Are those types of teams dangerous because of the fact they have got to prove something and turn things around?
Well, I think everybody's capable in this league. People are writing Burnley off, but would you want to play Burnley? I wouldn't want to play Burnley this weekend. So I feel everybody has got a chance in this league at every game as well. As we saw in midweek with Newcastle's win at Manchester City, fantastic with so many changes as well that Alan made, and it wasn't a fluke. And I think that's the case throughout the season, really. I think we could have been a lot closer to Chelsea if we hadn't lost a man as we did. So it's I think it's the closest Premier League for many years, if I'm honest, apart from the top 2. And now you're saying, is it the top 2 or the top 1?
As for this week, another one of the things to come out as a potential takeover of Crystal Palace with Josh Harris. You said, the club should snap his hand off for any potential investment or takeover. What's the latest as you understand it?
I haven't really spoken to him at great length. I mean, I came in to help them out. Really, it was a difficult situation, as you know. There were, 3 or 4 other candidates for one reason or another didn't come on board, and I just felt it was important. They've always been very close to my heart as Palace, and so when I came on, I said I'd help them, and if ever they wanted to do anything else, that's fine by me. I just want to help the club, and if they get people like that's mentioned interested, then I think it's only fit that the 4 owners that I know anyhow, talk to people like that. But I think the fans now know that the four of them, they won't let it go in the wrong hands. I think it'll only be taken over by a group that they're convinced 100%, because they're all fans. They want to see the club move on, and it would be great to have extra finance, for the manager or whoever it is, and the club itself, but without losing the values that the club's got. The club's got a great history, and I think fans always worry about that. Same as they always worry when you got new stadiums, but I'm afraid that's the time. Moving on, that's how it is, isn't it? With the stadia. So I don't think you can knock it. I don't think we know it. I don't know enough about it. Players don't know enough about it. But as and when anything is there for talking, I'm sure the chairman will inform us. But you can't knock anything like that. I mean, it's a fabulous club. If I was a billionaire, it'd be the type of club I'd buy, because it's a football club, and there's not many. It's got a heart, it's got a soul, it's got passion, and for me that's what football's all about. And it is dwindling a little bit. That we get all the money that's involved now, which is a great thing, but you can't tell me that makes it more enjoyable. I like the muck and nettles, and I love Palace as a club like that. So that's what I'm hoping, that they don't change too much if they did come in.
Gary Neville wrote this week about the death of old-fashioned defending, and how he feels like defenders are coached a bit too much on technique and not as much on actual defending. Is that something you've noticed?
Well, I don't think it's that we're not coaching. I just don't think that they're being born like that, and it's from a very young age. It's more fashionable, should we say, to kids to overlap and cross balls and shoot as a fullback, and to get on in the box from a midfield player, and centre halves coming out with the ball and having a dribble. There's a lot more things happening nowadays. Like I say, it's not fashionable to be I look at Wardy in our team, who's a good defender, and they are going out of fashion, those type of lads. But I think you can coach up to a point, but a lot of it is born in these lads nowadays.
You've got a lot of skillful players in the academy. One of them, Saleh Kaikai, you took up to West Brom last week with the squad. He scored a fantastic goal for the development side on Tuesday. Do you think he's got a good chance of being the next academy player to play in the Premier League?
I think he's got as good a chance as anybody, yeah. I mean, I've been very impressed, but you see, he's got to learn like the other young lads. Like, he came on against Newcastle and scored a fabulous goal for us and equalised. And then he left his man for the winning goal, which we lost. So he's got to learn it's no good celebrating and enjoying his goal if he's not going to do the dirty bit at the other end, and let his fullback go in the box and score a goal. It's a cruel league, a cruel game. This, you've got to learn the horrible bits of football as well as the glamour bits, and it's the same with talking about defenders. It's a dying breed. Not a lot of kids want to be a defender nowadays.
And then the same development game, Guardiola played 90 minutes. What was the thinking behind that?
I think the 3 of them, him and Barry and Zeki, they haven't had a 90-minute, and you do miss that 90 minutes. It's okay having a practice match, but you've got a competitive game, and it was on a good pitch, at Selhurst, so it was an opportunity. There were 2 or 3 others. Sorry, Dwight Gale did ever so well, didn't they, on the night as well? Usually you get a manager asking about the under-21 and they don't want to play, but this lot want to play. There's 5 or 6 wanting 3 positions. So sometimes you have to think about who not to play. They're so keen to get these games under the belt.